Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Brian, along with my co-host, Brett.
Hey, what's up, guys? And
So
with our co-host,
yeah,
Alyssa.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Brett is using the digital backgrounds. So Brett came on the show. He was definitely interested in Big Brother, and I know we've been making jokes about like we're never going to cover it. I kept watching it, and it's a good thing because Brett was like, I want to record these, and then I can just jump right in with him. So this is good because this is a pretty popular show, I would say, Brett. Like, it's not one of my favorites, but I know it's a pretty popular show in America, so we definitely need to cover it. So,
Well, I would say it's a top. I mean, for me, it's a top three favorite
mm,
show. I mean, this is like the show of the summer,
yeah,
I guess. Like it's once a year. It's in the summer. It's like the middle ground because Survivor is spring and fall.
hmm,
So I mean, those are my two favorite shows outside of the challenge. So I've been watching it. It's on 3 times a week. I don't watch the live feeds though, just because I've tried that a few times and it takes too much time. Plus, they
hmm,
show you nothing half the time. They show you like
right,
cats scratching
right.
walls.
And
So yeah,
I'm really glad you said that because if people are watching this, I want to just let them know that we don't watch the live feeds. It's not that we got a lot of stuff going on, like what Brett just said. Like watching it for the amount of people that watch it all the time, I don't know how you do it, but don't get mad at us if something already happened on a live feed or we didn't see it. Like we're just watching the show. And I think a lot of people normally are doing that, but just want to get that out there ahead of time, just so we're not getting judged for things if we sound dumb or things you already know had happened because you're watching the live feed and the next episode hasn't aired yet. So just want to get that out there. Now everyone knows. So, Brett, since you are a big fan of the show, let's talk about the newest episode that happened on Sunday. What are your thoughts?
so my thoughts are the episode started off slowly. I guess it was just sort of switching off the Dyre Fest
Mhm.
thing. People were trying to figure out what's going on. But then I thought it started picking up steam. Just from middle of the episode towards the end of the episode with the nominations. So I was very much glued to my computer screen. And as of recording this, I literally just watched it like an hour ago. So
Oh, cool.
it's
So it's
pretty fresh
fresh.
in my head. Yeah, it's pretty fresh.
I actually thought this was a pretty good episode. I really like that they don't know like what happened at the eliminations, like when they're split houses. So it kind of builds this like, oh, who's lying? Like what really happened? And it's kind of like Michael's starting to like see through like Kyle's lies and like Turner's lies. So I actually think that's a cool aspect of this show. And this is the first time they've done something like this.
Splitting the house. Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it adds like some, and it also like allows people to like get into other alliances, which I think is kind of cool. And I think it's something that could stick. As I mean, this is my first season, but I think it's pretty interesting because I wasn't really a fan of the. Were you a fan of when they did the pairings?
I did like
Okay.
it. I mean, I anytime they do something new, because you're supposed to expect the unexpected,
Yeah.
right? So I like when they do new stuff. Um, I don't want them to kind of like rig it in other people's favors. I feel like that's probably happened before, like on some of
Mhm.
their twists. But this one I liked just because obviously you have a major alliance,
Yeah, fractured.
dominating the house, and then once you just split it in half, who's gonna have the numbers, who's gonna be the HOH of which side. So the whole thing I liked, and obviously, I guess we might talk about later. The whole Dire Fest situation really, I think, changed the game, as you'll see, kind of in this episode as well.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to just speak on it super quick, just because we're talking about it? Like, I think Terrence winning the like the second place HOH, if he didn't win, it probably wouldn't have been that interesting. Do you agree?
I
Because
agree. If Alyssa won, it probably would have been somewhat similar. I mean, who was left? It was Jasmine, Terrence, Alyssa. Those are the only three on the outs.
yeah,
So I
right,
think
right,
if
right.
one of those three took Terrence's HOH, it would have been somewhat similar. But yeah, if we had a
If it was like the leftovers won both, it would have just been like, okay, we know who's going home. Like one of those. Like Jasmine was an auto, and then really it was just like it would have been Alyssa or Terrence.
well,
So
they both would have probably picked a target, right? So
mhm,
if a leftover other than Michael got the other one, they would
yeah,
have picked the target that wasn't Jasmine, which probably would have been Terrence, right?
right, 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 right.
Or maybe Alyssa, depending if they're trying to. I mean, I think if they really want to split up Alyssa and Kyle, they put them in the two separate sides, right?
Yep.
If you're in the leftovers, and then if Brittany won the second HOH, she takes Alyssa and gets rid of her, and then they keep
Mhm,
Kyle on the
yep.
inside,
Yep.
So
But I think it worked out pretty well with like how it did. Like it could have been pretty boring, but I approve of it. I don't know how I would have liked living outside for multiple days. Like that kind of sucks. Just like, do you like sleeping outside? Like, just like off topic.
No.
Yeah, it's like when,
and,
especially when
and,
it's
that, and
hot, man.
that's
Like, I don't do good
that's
in
why I don't want to be on Survivor.
like,
Like I would maybe do Survivor for like, hey Brett, be on Survivor. But applying for it, I'm like, I'll probably do Big Brother so I can sleep inside.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, you might have to deal with like those like what was it like the midnight concerts that they had to do on that one episode. Do you remember that? Where like what who had to play the drums? Was it
Oh,
Brazilian chick? I don't remember her name.
I don't remember. I mean, yeah, the Brazilian girl, yeah,
Yeah,
Indy,
she
yeah,
had to play, like do like the
uh,
play like the concert, and she had to have like somebody join her. Like those type of things suck, but at least you're sleeping in a bed.
right. I mean, I think that stuff's kind of fun. Like sometimes it's fun to watch and like maybe participate in.
Yeah,
Gets the house moving a little bit.
yeah.
I think
Um,
sometimes they play up like the dumb stuff too much and not enough of like the game talk, which is a lot of what we got this episode is game
mm,
talk.
yeah.
So,
So what are some of the things that you really like thought were major points that are gonna like kind of shift how the season's moving forward?
I mean, I guess we went into this episode knowing that we had the outside people. I forgot their
I think
nickname.
are they called like the after party?
The after party, yes. So obviously we had the after party versus the leftovers,
Mhm.
and so I mean that was I think it's what 4-on-4 at
Mhm.
this point or 5-on-5. It's even. So whoever won this HOH is really important. So obviously Turner from the after party won the HOH, and then we still didn't really know what he was going to do nomination wise, and then I guess it kind of locked in because something I didn't even think about. They were like, we had the pound before we had
Mhm.
the leftovers. So they instead they start talking to Monty on their own, which I think was like a great, like light bulb, I guess, on the show that I had forgotten about. And then so they start talking to Monty. They're spilling the beans to each other. Basically, it sounds like they're pulling Monty over into the after party at this point because he's still part of the pound.
Right.
So now the after party is going to have the numbers, and then of course we see Turner's nominations, and then yeah. So I think that getting that ball rolling of having Monty realize he was on the outside of the leftovers, and then Kyle and Turner were on the outside
Mhm.
even.
Now, a question for you, just because you've watched a lot. Do the people, as it goes on, do they get that upset every time when they get nominated?
Are you referring to some crying by
Because
Taylor?
Taylor's been crying a lot, but Brittany was definitely holding back some tears too. And I understand that you felt betrayed, but it like at some point you're going to be nominated. I just wasn't sure if that was just like a normal thing or like they're just maybe like completely blindsided like what Turner did.
I feel like a lot of times girls will cry, especially I think Brittany's playing like she's in an alliance, but she's somewhat playing a floater game or a
Uh-huh.
second fiddle to a meat shield like Michael, and and Taylor, I mean, she was already crying about Joseph earlier, so I guess it makes sense that she's crying again.
Yeah.
Plus, she's been on the block and was getting bullied early on.
She's been definitely a
She's
target, like
been through the
unnecessary.
ringer. She's been
Yeah, I
through the
mean,
ringer a lot, yeah.
right. And at this point in the game, like you're gonna get nominated. Like there's a really good chance that the numbers go down. I really, really thought the challenge was cool. Like I'm not usually a fan of like the getting the HOH. Is it that was the HOH one, right?
Yeah, it was the HOH one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
with the,
I'm not always a fan of the challenges in the show, like because I'm like watching Challenge and Survivor. I think they're like they're just too goofy for me sometimes. But this one I thought was really cool. Thought like even just the way they did the filming of it. Like since we've been doing the show, I like look at filming and editing a lot more. And I just like how they had that camera angle and like they're in there and like when they messed up, like Kyle would just like take a second to go back and he's like really
yeah.
pissed. Like I thought that was really cool and would be a
When
fun one to
Kyle,
do with us. I think would be that's a cool one to do.
when Kyle did that when he like backed out of
Yeah.
out of and like was just like
Yeah.
like, that's literally exactly how I would feel if I was in this challenge because this would be
Yeah.
like the worst HOH for me to play in because my hands are very shaky. Like
Uh,
I could not. That would be like that one, and then I don't know if you've seen like the egg crate HOH. Those are like the two worst HOHs to
okay.
play in. I think.
I don't remember that one.
It's another like endurance of like moving your fingers and
Okay,
not dropping stuff.
gotcha.
So, but
Uh,
yeah, when I saw this one, I was like, man, uh,
and
it'd be interesting to watch. Yeah,
yeah, another thing I noticed is like, what if you were left-handed? Everyone was going in for the right, but like
right.
just
Yeah, I didn't
something I
notice.
thought about, like, because like, and I think Kyle was doing well because he was doing like this, so like
He was
he
holding,
could
yeah, he
lock
was
his arm and
holding his
like,
elbow.
yeah, yeah. So like you can have that swinging motion. That's just some stuff I look at now. If you're gonna, when you start doing more videos of me, you notice I just analyze stupid things that no one else is looking at, and it's just
But yeah, I noticed like at one point, yeah, it looked like he was
yeah, he's like
holding.
locking his arm because he's like, I need to win this, and I just thought that everyone was really trying, which was good because they know like this was like a make or break win to like set the tone going forward. I thought it was really cool.
Did you notice their finger placement though? Turner was the only one holding his like very very close to the things.
Like that tweezer part.
Yeah, he was holding it very close to the tweezer, and like Monty's like out here
Yeah,
holding it.
and that could like yeah, like I yeah, definitely better to go inside because then you can make it more precise. Like how they he must be great at operation.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's basically that what that game is, right?
Yeah, definitely. So Turner wins. He has some conversations with some people, like kind of doing like some good, I think, like placing, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
I mean, we saw an edit. So Turner did tell Brittany that like,
Okay,
oh, I put you up last time. I'm not going to put you up this
okay,
time, or you're not my target this time. He did something to Brittany that reassured her that she was safe.
okay,
So maybe that's part of why maybe she was upset, is
gotcha,
because I guess he nominated her last time and he told her he wouldn't do it this time.
gotcha. Okay,
Um, other than that, the tricking, I don't know. Like I know at one point he said he was going to nominate the after party people
right,
because yeah, that was a
yeah,
big thing. Was he was saying I want to be part of the after party, but Terrence and Alyssa aren't going to win challenges for us.
that's right. He was he saying that to Kyle?
Yeah, he was saying that to Kyle. That's kind of where it started, I think. That was where he was leaning, and then Kyle was like, "No, dude, we're not targeting, Alyssa or our team."
Hmm.
And then that's when Kyle's actually the one that really pitched the whole bring in Monty thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then when they talked to Monty, it turns out Monty was pretty much ready. He's like, "Dude, like the pound all the way."
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so that's like I guess something we'll have to see. I mean, we're not gonna. I know I saw some stuff on the internet, but right now it's Taylor and Brittany. Like we were saying, they're both kind of upset. Um, I don't know. I don't trust Brittany to win the veto at all. So we'll see. Taylor's pretty athletic. I don't know what the challenge is going to be, but there's certain people like I agree with what who was saying like you can't trust like Terrence. If they put Terrence up, he wouldn't win.
right.
Like there's certain people you got to just think about. Like if you want to actually get them down, you got to be smart
Well,
about
yeah.
your picking.
Well, I think this whole, I mean, I didn't do the math of like who's going to be in veto, who's not, but apparently they did. And there's a chance Michael, if he's not on the block, will not get called to be in veto.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at this point, like that's the move you got to make. You got to align with the after party thing. And the fact that were able to pull in Monty, that's even better. And then you got to take out Michael. Because, I mean, my original thought was probably nominate Michael and Monty together, and then whichever one stays on the block, get rid of them.
Gotcha.
But I guess at this point they're looping in Monty. So this next scheme of put up Michael's two girls, and then either one of them is going to stay and go home, or you'll get the veto and you can backdoor Michael. So
Okay.
basically,
Mm-hmm.
if anybody but Michael wins the veto, Michael's getting backdoored. If Michael plays somehow and then he wins, he's going to take off Brittany, and then they're going to have to backdoor. I mean, somebody at that point. So, or they'll just take out. They still might just take out Taylor at that point. They
Yeah.
might put up on like who knows. I mean, I don't know if they'll put up Monty, if they'll put up Terrence,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, and then probably vote out Alyssa or not Alyssa, vote out
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah, and I mean he's done really well, and he's won like 5 or 6, right? Like
Michael,
vetoes.
yeah, Michael, yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
good. Like I think he's got to be the front runner to win, right? I don't know how the jury system is it similar to Survivor, where you vote at the end.
yeah. So everybody in the jury is going to vote for who they want to win of the final two.
Okay.
So if Michael's sitting in that final two, he's gonna beat anybody because he's played the best
Yep. I
physical
agree.
game. He's won the most, and he's played a very good strategic game.
Yep.
The only downside is obviously everybody sees that at this point. So
Mhm.
he's kind of, it's like in Survivor, I guess. Once everyone wants you out, you got to win immunities.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the whole concept of the back door, which is like
Mhm.
my biggest fear if I were to play Big Brother. Is they're like, oh, Brett's going to beat us in the competition, so we'll just not nominate him. He won't play, and then we'll just put him up and send him out. So that's
Okay.
what they're trying to do to Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's something to worry about. But I mean, what are your thoughts on the season as a whole?
I mean, I think the season as a whole has been really good. I think I guess it always starts off a little bit slow. You don't know who's going to get targeted or what's going to form. Um, I think the whole Paloma leaving thing was weird, and like they were all bullying Taylor. I feel like that was very much just like the general
Mhm.
consensus of the season. Like that's what it was about. Basically, it's like Taylor's getting bullied, Paloma's going psycho, and it started ramping up. I think once they were getting alliances, and then I actually I thought Nicole was going to be like a force in the game. She reminded me of some other players that had won in the past, and so I thought that she would be a threat. And I think when Alyssa or not, I think when Taylor was getting bullied, Nicole was like consoling her and stuff, and then just did a complete 180. And her and Daniel started bullying Taylor themselves, and then got sent home. So
Yeah, that's the one thing about the show is like everything's on camera, and I'm very surprised when people like he was like yelling at her like for like no reason. I was just like, oh boy. And that's
yeah,
why I kind of wasn't ready to do the show because they talked something up in the beginning and then they canceled it because Paloma left and then the bullying. And I was like, I can't get into this by myself. So that's why I'm very happy that you're here. You can be my expert guide. And I'm not going to try, I won't try not to say anything stupid because you know the series as a whole. But it's definitely gotten better. I will say, like, I really have enjoyed the last few weeks a lot more than I did in the beginning.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely getting better. I think like it's just, I mean, that the outside twist with Dyre Fest, I think
Yeah.
that definitely shook the game up. So with DJ Showtime now over
Yeah.
here at Dyre Fest.
I'm just driving the bus, and these fools are throwing each other under it. Who knew?
So I think this is the shakeup that the game needed. I think we might have mentioned it before, but yeah, I think this is a twist that they need to implement moving forward because when you have a huge alliance in the house, um, making this two HOHs splitting the house, split votes, you don't know who's going to end up on what side. It definitely made things interesting. So
Yeah, it's like in Survivor where they do like this tribe swap or like they like make the tribes even like smaller and it's just they got to do those things even if it's on the fly, like have like those reserves like hey, we can do this to break up like cuz that alliance was getting pretty dominant.
yeah,
So,
they should probably do that every time. Anytime an alliance gets too strong, just
yeah, just break it. I mean,
break it up. Just do something crazy.
and just act like you had a plan. Like how would we know? And would we care? It's just it makes the show better. Any
Hmm.
show. So, it definitely was more interesting for me as a non watcher. So,
Yeah, I think expect the unexpected. That's their tagline. So
mhm.
they should just have free reign to do whatever they want. And then obviously people are like, oh, the producers are meddling and trying to influence the game and stuff. But I don't know. There's a balance to it. I definitely like this twist. So I look forward to seeing things like this in the future.
I would expect it to be that way because I think it was a success. So Brett, do you have anything else before we like wrap it up?
Um, no, I don't think so.
Okay. So thank you for watching. Brett and we haven't decided what we're gonna do. Like if like how we're if this episode is very successful, we'll do every after every episode, but like we may do the next batch together. Like because like Brett was saying off air, it's just kind of like the actual elimination is more than just like picking who's gonna be up on like the resetting of the block. So we'll let you know about that. We have a bunch of other stuff like as you can tell, like Bill and I separated today because we had a bunch of shows going on. So we have Bachelor coming out, we have Claim to Fame, we have Challenge this week, we have Bachelor in Paradise preview, tons and tons of stuff. We're gonna try to have things for you every day, so make sure to check us out. So for myself and Brett, thank you, peace.
Yeah, thank you guys.